Cruise news time. Well, I got some updates. I owe you guys some answers to questions. First, are those poor people still locked down on the World Dream cruise ship? Second, is the American Jazz cruise ship still stuck in the Cumberland River? Third, how big is a big cruise ship when it comes to the cruise ship ban in Venice? And finally, who sold it out quicker? The most recent Garth Brooks concert, the third time that it was scheduled, did that sell out quicker than the new Regent Seven Seas 132 days world cruise? Who sold it out quicker? You could put a guess in the comments. A lot of updates. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Lido, Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news updates. Well, let's answer the questions. Are those passengers still quarantined, locked down on the World Dream cruise ship in Singapore? No. How long were they locked down? About 16 and a half hours. They were remanded to their cabins at 1 a.m. They were allowed to start disembarking at 8:30 p.m., so about 16 and a half hours. Why is this case significant? It was just one COVID case. Why are we talking about it? Well, it's an interesting study in the protocols that cruise lines have put in place. Let's think about Singapore. They've done very well with the virus, and one of the ways that they've done well with the virus is they've been very strict on their contact tracing, and they have a very robust testing protocol. The way that this all came about, the 40-year-old that ended up positive on that cruise ship, when they got on the cruise ship, they were tested and they tested negative. And while that cruise was going on, there was a person not on the cruise ship, someone at land, who tested positive for the virus, and the contact tracing kicked in, and they identified the person on the cruise ship as someone who was a close contact. This person was retested, and on the retest, it showed that they were positive. So they tested negative getting on the ship. They tested positive a few days later, and this is really Singapore's approach. They want to catch the virus as early as possible, so they use contact tracing to identify this person. The person that tested positive, they were taken off the cruise ship. They were taken to a local hospital, tested again to verify that they actually were positive while the guests were waiting on board. And once it was determined that they were positive, all the guests had to be tested to get off of the cruise ship. Another question from the comments, was this a fully vaccinated cruise? This was not fully vaccinated. They've been cruising since November in Singapore. There's no vaccine requirement, and so they just have a lot of health protocols. Another reason why this story is important is the length of time which the people were quarantined. That was the big point for me putting up the story. How long would these people be locked down? Would it be 3-4 weeks like Diamond Princess, or something different? And I think it's important to put out there in the cruising universe to the cruise faithful that in these scenarios, and again, this is a super restrictive scenario, protocol scenario, in these scenarios, the lockdown only lasted 16 hours. And so we will not be going back to 2020. And I think that's a message that needs to get out there, because as soon as you hear about people being remanded to their room, all kinds of stuff starts flying around. So those passengers now off the cruise ship there in Singapore. Story number 2, is the American Jazz still stuck on a sandbar in the middle of the Cumberland River? Yes, it is. So they got the passengers off on July the 9th. That was 6 days ago. They got a skeleton crew on there, fully stocked with supplies. They got divers in the water trying to figure out how to refloat the ship. They've contracted a company called Dungeon Smith, D-O-N-J-O-N, Don John Smith, Don Johnson. Don Johnson's gonna free him, Crockett and Tubbs. I'm not making fun of it. Nobody's hurt. The equipment is still good. American Cruise Line said that everything's operational. They're just stuck. And so it's funny a little bit, ironically funny, that the whole point is it for not to be stuck, and it's stuck. But yeah, so they're still trying to figure out how to get this ship unstuck. But everybody's fine passenger-wise. That's the update. I will give an update when the ship is unstuck, but still stuck for now. Many of you asked the question in the comments yesterday, what's considered a big cruise ship when it comes to the lagoon in Venice? I got the answer for that. Before we get there, let me quickly invite you to subscribe. If you like staying up to date with everything that's going on in cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of these episodes. Thank you so much in advance. Well, a big cruise ship, let me give it to you by the numbers. This ban applies to ships that are either heavier than 25,000 tons or longer than 180 meters, which is 590 feet. taller than 35 meters, which is 115 feet, or that employ more than a set amount of fuel in maneuvering. Of course, I don't know what that fuel amount is, but this could even include large yachts. For comparison, let's look at a small cruise ship from Carnival, the Carnival Paradise. I've been on that ship. Her tonnage is 70,000 gross tons. She's 855 feet long, and she is 115 feet tall. So she would meet the height requirement, but she is too heavy and too long to make her way into the lagoon there in Venice. Large cruise ships still will be able to visit the area near Venice. They will be rerouted to the industrial port of Marghera. They're working currently on temporary docks where they can host some of these larger cruise ships. But yeah, for the most part, I mean, you're thinking Carnival's smallest ship can't go into Venice. So for the most part, the big cruise companies, they're not going to be able to put a cruise ship into Venice. So that is the numerical guidance on how big a big cruise ship is in Venice. Now let's talk about how quickly stuff sells out. I asked the question in the beginning, which sold out quicker, Garth Brooks' Las Vegas concert? This concert was first scheduled for August 22nd, 2020. Then it was rescheduled because of the virus until February of 2021. Then it had to be rescheduled again, and it finally happened on July the 10th, 2021. But the question is, 75,000 people, how quickly did it sell out compared to how quickly the Regent Seven Seas 132 days, $75,000 per person cruise, how quickly did that sell out when it went on sale yesterday? I'll tell you the cruise ship sell out first. This is on Seven Seas Mariner. It's a cruise ship that holds about 700 people. $75,000 was the minimum for this 132-day world cruise, and it sold out in 2.5 hours. We're talking 150 minutes, and this cruise still has a huge wait list, one of the quickest sellouts for the world cruise ever. So did they sell out quicker than Garth's 75,000 people in Las Vegas? Well, no, you know they didn't sell out quicker than Garth. That Garth concert, according to a statement released from Garth's company, sold out in 75 minutes. It's Garth versus the cruise lines. I guess Garth wins this one, but how about that? Cruising's back, baby, in demand. This cruise is going off in 2024. $75,000 minimum, sold out in 2.5 hours. Boom, that's your cruise news. You can ask me more questions in the comments, or you can answer my question. Question for the comments today: if you could choose either one, would you go on that 132-day world cruise, or would you spend a week with Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood as their guest at their house? Would you hang out with Garth for a week, or take that world cruise for free? Leave a comment below. Thank you so much for checking out the show today. Please show your support by hitting the like button, or I'm gonna make it to where every Ziploc bag that you have doesn't completely seal. You know how annoying that is. Yellow and blue won't make green. How about that? This is Tony with Lido Loca, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.